Hello. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part, for the tarot part, I'm going to use the Astro Matrix tarot. The website on the back here, there's verbiage there, but the website's at the bottom, astromatrix.org, I believe. They're at the bottom. There's also the artists, the creator, and the QR code. Thank you for the people who put that in the comments last week, because I could not remember the name of that, but here's the QR code for this one if you're interested. The Oracle cards. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. Website rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as an apple, U as an umbrella. And I also use dice. I use a 21-sided for the major arcana, which does omit 0, but I make it work. I believe it came from this place, the dice shop. And if I can get it close enough, you can see mathartstuff.com. Mathartfun.com. Hopefully you can see that if you're interested. The smaller dice, I have a 14-sided dice that I use for the minor arcana, and I use a 4-sided dice to choose the suit. That's from here, Tom Anders. There is some information there. Hopefully I can get it close enough so it'll focus and you can see it if you're interested. I want to say there's like a website there, but I can't see it. This one also has a QR code. Here's the QR code for that one, if I can hold it still. All right, that's what we have for the materials. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? Okay. Page of Cups at the top. A card did fall out, so it's face down. Usually is. Just usually seems to happen that way. Okay. So I'm really curious about this face down card, but we got to get there first. Okay. People and stuff going on around you. I feel like you've been avoiding something. Not purposely, though. How do we explain that? There's almost like there's a connection from your past. This could be a family connection, doesn't have to be. Could be a strong friendship or something, or a friendship that used to be strong in the past. Could be a social connection from a past job or a past unit you used to work with. It's not gone, but it might feel like it is. Because I feel like I just haven't been thinking about it, maybe. Even though it's a 6 of Swords, it kind of talks about moving on from, troubled waters to something better. I don't feel like this has been completely wiped away. It's just been on a very tranquil, something that maybe you rarely think about. A connection you hardly ever think about, I dare to say. But it was good in the past. It had its good moments. There were some moments that were good. And currently, I feel like, even though this, I don't know, I was looking at it quickly, but the more you look at it, it's kind of like it's kind of a more sad card, but it doesn't feel that bad with the 5 of Pentacles. It's kind of like, I have the chance to go inside if I want to, but I'm not allowing myself to go inside. I feel like I'm not allowing myself to. I'm just kind of keeping a distance from it, and I'm just letting it be what it is. It's not bad, but it's almost like when the thought comes around, when the subject comes up, I feel like I'm more apt to just not do it. I don't know, is there anything else with that? It doesn't feel bad. It just feels like maybe this is for the best for right now. The World's coming in with the 6 of Cups, so the history's coming back in. It's something that could be returning. Something that could be returning. The thing is, where you're at now, there could be a slight conflict with this. Because when this energy was in your life last, you might have had different feelings in different ways of living life. Your life might have been different, I should say. So for some of you, maybe the last time you used to be around this person, maybe you didn't have your own family, and maybe now you do. Or, maybe you didn't have the partner you have now, or maybe you didn't have the lifestyle you have now. Something has changed. I think for a lot of us, and I love to say this part, I'm a Pisces too, it's fun. I feel like most people, I shouldn't say most people, a good number of us, we evolve over the years. And like we realize, when I was, for example, myself, 20 years ago, I feel like I had behaviors and I tolerated behaviors that I just didn't realize how toxic they really were. And then over the last 20 years and, watching and seeing how other people are affected, kind of like, what, that's not good. I need to change that. That's, I was just kind of complicit. Or like, for example, there were certain comics in the 80s, that's more than 20 years ago, but certain comics in the 80s, which I remember thinking when I was that age, I was a teenager in the 80s, they were funny, but now when I watch them, I'm horrified that I kind of like, I thought that was funny. So it's kind of like things have changed. You have changed how you react to the world. You've upgraded from thinking, well, it's not that big of a deal, to like maybe certain things you're like, I don't handle it that way anymore. I don't look at it that way anymore. There's a bond with this. This was the face down card. There's a bond with this person. Whoever this is, there's a strong bond, actually. The question is, are you going to allow this energy to come back in? It's going to try to come back in. It seems to be showing up, and it's kind of like it wants to reconnect with you. Whoever this is wants to reconnect. I don't think they're a bad person. I'm not getting like bad energy. Granted, it's a general read. Take it with a grain of salt. Decide for yourself. The Queen of Swords and the Temperance card just coming in. Queen of Swords half in, half out, which is telling me they're bringing in some truth, but they're not pushing it too hard. And I feel like they're trying to mute themselves a little bit. They seem to realize that they need to be a little bit more muted if they're going to try to come back into your life. They're not really sure where things are going, but I do feel like they're interested to get to know you again. Could be a family, could be friend, could be a past coworker. For some of you, I feel like it's a past coworker that you knew of in the past, that for some reason this person has thought of you and wants to come into your life stronger than they were before. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's deal with what I see coming up next. Your reading has a good ending, thankfully, thankfully. But there's a bump here. I can't sugarcoat it. I find myself saying this a lot lately. I'm not a Sunshine Rainbows reader. Like if it's there and it doesn't look fun, I'm be like, well, there's a moment here, and I just kind of like I address it for what it is. So this is showing up. Things have to be addressed. Something has to be addressed. I feel like it depends on how this comes forward, but this person from the past might have certain behaviors that they have not evolved past yet. And I say yet in kind of like in question, like yet. Like they could, but like aren't there a lot of things in the world that people could do, just to be fair. There's a could. The hard part, it depends on you how hard you feel this is to stand your ground. It may be as simple, and I feel like I've made quite the loud impact not realizing it with this behavior. Sometimes people say inappropriate jokes, let's just put it that way. Whatever it may be. And my response is to not laugh. Which seems to be quite a loud silence. That's how I've gotten my point across in certain situations. It depends. Sometimes you might have to stand up for yourself and be like, well, maybe you don't like that, but that describes me. And, if that's how you feel, I don't see why we're here. Could be something like that. Or you don't have to be that bold with it. You could just be like, well, that is me. Like if somebody's making fun of or like talking down about something, you're like, well, that is me. I have that in my family, I have that in my life, or I don't feel that way about that subject. It could be very subtle. It might be something just making a point. But it depends on the Pisces. Like I'm a Pisces, and sometimes I just blurt stuff out. Other times I don't say anything at all. It depends on the moment, how I feel. Again, I've made a big point, like when people say bad jokes, we're just gonna call them bad jokes. I just am silent. I just don't react, and it's like it's a really painful silence. But I feel like it's loud. It's a loud silence, if you will. It's a very loud silence. I've made the point. I feel like instead of creating an argument with it, I just don't laugh and I just don't react. And whatever this is, whoever it is coming in, there will be the need. I feel like there's going to be this knee-jerk reaction just to kind of like just go along with it and just kind of let it disappear. This situation could be a very good connection. Not only is it good for you, but not on the terms of who they are. Like, not tolerating bad behavior, but like, you could be this example, but also this person is not a bad person. I feel like they have some traits that they could do better with. If you just kind of go along with it, I feel like what's going to happen is you're going to go your way, they're going to go their way, and nothing's going to improve for either of you. There's a chance for both of your lives to improve in some respect, especially if it's a business connection. You might be surprised at how this person could help you, but you can't dampen who you are to do it. You have to be you don't have to be super bold, but you have to be out there about who you are and not compromise your standards in whatever way you see fit. It doesn't have to be loud, and it doesn't have to be loud. It can be very subtle, but you can make a very big impact with subtle responses or subtle behavior. It's a Pisces thing. I think it's a Pisces thing. The advice is just to say your truth however you see fit. Say your truth however you see fit, and just let it be out there, and just don't negotiate your truth. Just don't negotiate it. Doesn't mean we have to have a 10-day conversation about it. Just kind of like, this is how I feel about it, and that's how it is. Kind of like with me being into tarot and stuff like that. Both of my parents were not really big fans of it, but I wasn't negotiable on it, and I still am not. That's just an example. It's a very minor one. I'm just not negotiable with it. I don't think I should be. I don't think it's healthy to be. This is one of my personal spiritual tools, and it's my business. I didn't go to their place, and either of their places, they were divorced, and whip out my tarot cards and do all that stuff. I didn't do that with them, but I didn't back down, and I had no shame about what I liked and what I thought. So that's kind of an example. It's subtle, but it makes a point, if you follow me. It depends on how you gotta, as long as you can stand strong with how you feel, and kind of in one example, I made a point, I didn't laugh, and that behavior stopped. In another example, I just wasn't going to negotiate on that, and they kept their opinions about certain subjects to themselves, and I kept my opinions to myself on certain subjects. It depends. It was fine. It was negotiable. I don't know. Depends on you, because I get there's a good connection that could happen here. There's a good connection, and you can stand strong, and they can stand strong. I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but I'm getting there's a really good connection here. There could be more strength. You could get a lot out of this, and you'd be surprised. I feel like once you set the tone, it really doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal. Which, take that with a grain of salt. It's kind of like, I set the standard, I set the tone, I'm not going to negotiate it, and that's just what it is. You also give somebody else the chance to make decisions on their own. I'm getting the leader card for you. Some Pisces cringe with the leader card. Other Pisces are more open to it. But it's a very subtle leadership. You're leading the situation in very subtle ways. I feel like for most of you, it's very subtle. And it might be you come out with information here and there. You just say your piece, and that's what it is. But your actions are going to speak louder than words in this situation for sure. You're giving somebody else a chance. They're going to benefit you just as much as you benefit them. And time will tell exactly what that is. But you make an impact with them. I got the moon card on their side, and I didn't get it until just now because it just kind of popped in my head. The moon card in the tarot is the Pisces card. I used to get confused with it because the moon in astrology talks about Cancer, so sometimes it would flip in my brain. But I'm getting there is a loyalty here. So there's a loyalty here, and there's the thought where they're kind of like understanding like you have your integrity and you're not going to back down, and they respect that. And I feel like this is somebody who like you're going to cause them to really think about how they handle certain things and how they treat people. I'm not saying they're going to change things. There's a good possibility, but there's no guarantees. Like free will is a real thing. But you're going to cause them to kind of like pull back and kind of like go, oh, that's where Pisces is. And I do feel like they see you with a lot of integrity. And the fact that you stood up for yourself or said what you had to say or reacted the way you did, I feel like they're seeing a lot of strength there, and they're affected by it. They're affected by it, and there's a chance for things to go much better. Free will is a real thing, though, so I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying there's a potential, but I also see, like, however you're benefiting this person, they're benefiting you in other ways. It is a balanced relationship going forward. It just depends how it comes forward. It really depends on the relationship you have. So if it's a business thing, this person's going to look out for you, and they're going to see you as somebody with a lot of integrity. This is only if you find some version of you standing up for yourself. I feel like if you don't, if you just kind of roll with it, kind of like, oh, they think that's funny, or oh, that's how they feel, and you don't say anything and you just kind of roll with it, I feel like you're naturally just going to disconnect from it, and there's just going to be nothing here. But there's a potential for you to have great things here and for you to be very beneficial for whoever this is. So it's up to you. All right, I think we're done. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.